Viewers, and you're still watching The Breakfast Show and talking about the World Cities Day celebration that took place in Alexandria yesterday. We're delighted to have with us over the phone Mr. Simon Sayegh, a tourism expert. Good morning, Mr. Simon.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. So, as the Prime Minister actually underscored the importance of Alexandria's role as a model for coastal cities' adaptability and innovation during the celebration yesterday, how do you see and what is the significance of hosting the World Cities Day event in Alexandria specifically, and what it is impact in flourishing the tourism?
Well, actually, the work that has been made by the governor represents a successful model of cooperation between the city civil society, local government, and international delegates. With that, we are building a vital and inclusive partnership to empower youth in urban development programs and implement Egypt's national agenda to address climate change impacts. Let's say specifically in the coastal area. And this event featured extensive sessions and discussions involving several ministers, international leaders, experts, academic people, youth representatives, alongside an opening of the exhibition, Youth, Tools and Green Technology for Sustainable Urban Future. So, we are emphasizing all agencies that are working together to ensure the success of World Cities Day in cooperation in between all ministries and bodies. The United Nations Habit Program are in, collaborating with the Ministry of Local Development and the Ministry of Housing and Urban Communities. And we have an aim, and the aim is to provide all logistical solutions for managing traffic, infrastructure, visits, volunteer agreements. So the World Cities Day serves as a key preparatory step for the World Urban Forum to be hosted in Cairo, rallying international and local communities toward making cities more sustainable, inclusive, and greener. So, we have to know that we have a lot of challenges in that. And Egypt are working toward the rapid urbanization, the growing fast, the attracting populations seeking economic opportunities and access to services in cities, because that creates challenges in space, in the infrastructure, the service. The effective planning is necessary to balance growth and with the quality of life. We work also toward the climate change, because cities are major contributors to global emissions and are especially, let's say, vulnerable to climate change impacts like flooding, heat waves, and sea level rise. All efforts are to increase resilience and adapt to climate change. That is, let's say, vital for urban areas. We work also on the infrastructure needs that require continuous investment in modern and resilient infrastructure for the transport, the energy, the housing, all of that to support the growing populations and ensure the efficiency and sustainability. We work also on the social inequality, because cities are centers of wealth, and that also creates a deep social divide in housing, healthcare, and access to essential services that is, let's say, need a lot of policies to reduce those disparities. We work also on the health and well-being, because cities must address public health issues including pollution, water quality, and access to medical services. So we have a big agenda for that, and a lot of work that is realized. As an example, there is a huge city network to work in that, sharing resources, strategies, all of that, of course, to reduce all kinds of emissions. We have adopted a lot of promotion and a lot of program of development, and we are focusing on affordable housing, transport, and climate adaptation. So Egypt has made a lot of work in that field to advance in their plan.
Okay, so you're talking about, you mentioned the role of the youth actually in regards of all these topics. So how can we involve the youth in the climate change, for example?
Well, the role of youth in climate change, let's say, is very heavy. Let's say it's very hard. That's not easy, because those youth do not own a lot of tools to work on. Mm-hmm. But what we can do for them, for example, is driving awareness and leading them to realize what we call grassroots movements. So youth-led organizations like Fridays for Future and the Sunrise Movement have brought climate issues in the forefront, mobilizing millions around the world to demand climate action. There is also the social media. So young people leverage platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to spread awareness, to educate others, and to amplify climate issues. Social media has helped make climate change a mainstream topic, particularly among younger generation. Also, we can talk about what we can call advocacy and activism. So many young climate activists advocate for policy changes at local, national, and international levels. And all of that, of course, by attending climate conference, lobbying and organizing rallies, and press leaders and cooperation for climate-friendly policies. They work also in innovating for sustainable future, to lead for a clean technology and solution, because youth are pioneering innovations in clean energy, in sustainable energy.
Yes.
Exactly. So policy, for example, in engagement and leadership, like participation in the policy dialogue, in the leadership position. They work a lot also in the education and in the knowledge sharing, in the skill building for climate solution. They work a lot in, let's say, in the local environmental projects. Many young people are engaged in local initiatives, such as, let's say, the work in around the city, in the lakes, that like Lake Mariuteia, where you are in Alexandria. They work a lot in the building climate resilient communities, in promoting climate justice, like highlighting any inequalities that can exist. You know, activists between them are always working on that. They work on the international solidarity, with the collaboration they do with others in every other country. So let's say they work in a way that is very ambitious.
Yes,
and
yes.
We can expect a lot out of them. In fact, they don't stop, and even there is a lot of leaders between them, and it's very increasing. And they are taking the role with the government, as non-profit organization, as corporation, as championing policies focusing on climate action, and so on.
So can we talk more about the SDG, the Sustainable Development Goals?
About the, sorry?
The Sustainable Development Goals.
Of course.
Yes.
So when we talk about that, we will be standing about many key points, like, for example, the service discovery, which mean the discovery of network services and devices that are requiring configurations. We can work also through what we call the M-Search, which is a device that will send the messages and it wants to discover available service or devices. We can work through the system of response. We can work through many applications like the smart home devices, like the security consideration. Well, there is a lot of example of SSDP in action.
The goals, yes.
Yes.
So how do you weigh the efforts exerted in preparations for this celebration this year with the theme of this year?
Well, actually, this year a lot of work has been done.
Yes.
And we worked on emphasizing the motivation. So we have been setting meaningful goals, boosting motivation by offering a sense of purpose and creating a roadmap for progress. We did work also on providing goals through putting a very clear direction that help individuals or teams to concentrate their efforts and resources on what is truly matters. We did have a lot about the short-term goals and the long-term goals. For the short-term one, we did work on what could be achievable in the near future, which I mean in like weeks or months. And there is a lot of steps that has been done to provide a quick winning steps and putting a consistent motivation. We are working a lot to create the results in Egypt, especially of course in Alexandria, and that needs a lot from our youth to sustain their efforts and commitment in order to achieve it. We work also on putting in every mind personal goals, focusing on each individual for his well-being, for his personal development. Like, for example, his hobbies, his professional goals target, like career advancement, skills acquisition, contribution for his work space, and so on. So it's a big frame that has been realized and very specific, very clear, very defined, very focused, that you can measure, that you can achieve, you can realize. Let's say the work is very relevant, and it has a big importance, of course, to create what we call self-improvement, and to build confidence as individuals who usually tackle challenges and what we say, what we call achieve milestones.
Yes.
So it's a very big professional success, and it will lead, of course, in every career, and it will lead also for a life balance for everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Simon Sayegh, tourism expert, for being with us and for having the time to talk about such a great event that took place in Alexandria yesterday. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching The Breakfast Show. We now come to an end of our show. Thank you for watching.